With the 2023 season in the books, the Green Bay Packers are officially playoff bound with their win over longtime rivals the Chicago Bears 17-9 last night on Sunday. The final score definitely doesn't tell the whole story. Green Bay was more than capable of scoring more points, but they had the unfortunate circumstances of just shooting themselves in the foot with a lot of miscues. As I said before, this season has been nothing but a roller coaster with many ups and downs we've gone through, and the playoffs look completely out of reach, but Green Bay found a way, and I'm happy for them. I really am. I'm really happy for the Packers. I'm happy for a lot of those guys in the locker room to overcome a lot of adversity over the season and punch their way into the postseason. I definitely do think the Packers overachieved season expectations, as it was nothing more than this. We came into this season basically just there was no ceiling basically. If trying to find the right word to use for it, basically there was really no ceiling. We didn't know what kind of team we had. We didn't know how this team was going to look. We didn't know whether we definitely sure weren't really looking to clinch a playoff spot. This season was just all about just seeing what kind of the team we had, basically. It was a rebuild, but then it kind of wasn't, but then it kind of wasn't. But we were just out there playing lots of rookies all throughout the season, being the youngest team in the league, with an offense that struggled so much earlier in the year to now moving and executing plays so well is just insane. I mean, this offense looks completely different than it did to start the season. They came out and looked good against the Bears in the first game, looked good for 3 quarters against the Falcons, and just completely fell off a cliff for several weeks. All throughout October, they were terrible. But then, starting with that Steelers game, the offense started to come more and more to light. Jordan Love started playing better. The receivers started playing better. Eventually, down the road, down the stretch, we get Aaron Jones back. And this offense just looks completely different. So I want to give a hats off to Coach Matt LaFleur with the game plan. Offense was just moving the ball up and down the field. The Packers outgained the Bears 432 to 192 and 7.2 yards per play to only 4.2 yards per play for the Bears. The Bears also finished with only 117 total passing yards. Justin Fields completed only 11 passes and he took 5 sacks. Jordan Love, he threw over 300 yards for the second time this season. 2 touchdowns, but really should have had more, if not for Romeo Doubs and Bo Melton, both dropping touchdowns in the end zone. Aaron Jones, our best offensive weapon, went over 100 yards for the third consecutive game. The run blocking was really good, and against a Bears team that was coming into this game, number 1 ranked in the league against the run. So that's just incredible. The defense, yes, the defense played really good as well, allowing only 9 points. DJ Moore couldn't be found in this game. The Packers held the Bears running backs Herbert and Johnson to just 48 yards or 17 carries. Justin Fields, he was being heckled all game by our defensive front, and that's really what Green Bay won this football game, was just the battle in the trenches up front without defensive line. And it should be no secret that at this point that's where the strength of this defense come from. It doesn't come from our linebackers. It doesn't come from those guys in the secondary. It comes from those guys up front with the pass rush. If those guys up front are getting consistent pressure, it makes life a lot easier on our secondary. And you can really throw a quarterback like Justin Fields off and make him just look completely uncomfortable. Justin Fields, he's a guy that just came to Chicago, and it just looks like they're going to eventually move. It looks like they're going to move on from Justin Fields and probably draft the quarterback this next draft. And it's definitely looking that way. So we'll see how that's looking for the Bears this coming off season. But, the 5 sacks are a perfect example of what I mean. Against better football teams down the road with better quarterback play, I'm not so sure how well this defense is going to continue to look. I don't want to be a pessimist, but at the end of the day, we're going into the playoffs. Expecting them to play like this next Sunday is just going to be completely unrealistic. But it wasn't all perfect, obviously. Like I said earlier, we should have scored more points. Honestly, the Packers should have scored at least 30. This game really should have just been a blowout. We didn't punt the ball one time. All right, we were moving the ball just fine, even when we were starting inside the 10-yard line. But after the first drive stalled due to a sack, Romeo Doubs also dropped that touchdown I mentioned earlier. on a really good throw by Love when he was scrambling onto the other side, but he just couldn't hang on, so we had to settle for a kick that Anderson Carson missed. More on him later. At the end, then later at the end of the first half, we got a chance to get at least 3 points. Love almost throws an interception. Then Matt LaFleur then calls another play with only 7 seconds left on the clock, with no timeouts. It was just dumb. Like just kick the damn ball. But no, we throw. Jordan Love completes it to Wicks, who was pushed out of bounds going back, which means the rest of the clock was drained. That's all on Matt LaFleur, in my opinion. That was completely on Matt LaFleur. And yeah, the execution, I get it. The execution wasn't great, but it should never been called to begin with. Just take the points. It's only 7 seconds left and you have no timeouts. I get it. You want to try to get more yards. I get it. But just take the points, man. Just take the points. It was only 7 seconds left. Why even risk it? So you go into halftime with no points after another drive, after another really good drive. And then after scoring our second touchdown, Jordan Love would then fumble the ball on the next series on a scramble. Then after getting down into the red zone again, Bo Melton unfortunately couldn't secure the catch in the end zone. So yeah, just leaving a lot of points off the board, man. They cannot play like this next Sunday if Green Bay wants any chance of competing with the Cowboys, a team that can come out and score a lot of points very quickly. And yes, the only thing that matters at the moment was the win. I get it. So I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be negative at all. We just gotta point these things out. Just want to point these things out. But overall feelings is that yes, this wasn't the biggest thing that mattered the most was the win. We won, regardless of the final score. That now being 10 straight wins over the Bears, year one under Jordan Love and Green Bay is in the playoffs. It's just an incredible story, man. I got a ton of problems with Matt LaFleur and his coaching decisions, and I've called it all out so many times throughout the season. But still, just going throughout the season, it was still impressive leading this team into the postseason again in the wake of moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay was basically just written off all ready to start the season, and pretty much all the experts were just looking at the Packers as the new punching bag team of the NFL. And it almost looked that way after we fell to 2-5, but we bounced back, winning 7 of 10 of the next 10 games. So it didn't happen. The offense has completely emerged with these guys with weapons all around Jordan Love to where you didn't even notice guys like Christian Watson not being out there. And even Dobbs leaving the game earlier with an injury. The rookies, these guys all stepped up and just honestly, they just completely outshined those two in their second year. And even though Dobbs hasn't had a bad year by any means, I mean, he's tied with Jalen Reed for leading touchdown catches. Still, Dobbs' hands are a question mark, and Christian Watson simply just can't stay on the field. So, yeah, the only thing left to talk about is just we gotta go into the postseason with Anderson Carson as our kicker. And if we were to score in Dallas, if we were to score against the Cowboys, I'm gonna just be holding my breath each time because you get the feeling that he's either gonna miss the point after attempt or the field goal. Look, man. I get it. I get that he's a rookie, but I still don't trust this guy at all going into the postseason as our kicker. And just God forbid the game comes down to that, and we lose due to a missed point out there attempt early in the game, or a field goal, or late game field goal. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me, man. So to me, Anderson Carson is absolutely the biggest Achilles heel on this football team. It used to be the defense, but special teams overall has still always been the Packers' biggest problem. At this point, I trust the defense more than I trust Anderson Carson. That's just how much I'm losing faith in this guy. I really don't trust him going to the postseason as our kicker. So if there's one overall negative thing I take away from this football game, other things I talk about as far as miscues, Anderson Carson is definitely just up in the air, man. So I hate to end the video like that because trust me, I am happy, man. I'm happy for this football team. I'm happy that we made the postseason, that we overachieved expectations. I'm happy. I am. And now we get to have an opportunity to go into Dallas and see what they do against the Cowboys. And win or lose is not really going to bother me. It really isn't, because this team probably shouldn't be in this position, but they are. They earned this playoff spot, and I'm happy for them. So whatever happens against Sunday against the Cowboys, win or lose, it's really not going to bother me too much. So That's all. That's all I got, man. Cowboys this Sunday. Enjoy the hibernation yet again, Chicago Bears, and go Pack, go.